Hello, everyone. Who's out there? It's 3 for 5 time. 3 for 5 time. Yeah, beautiful Sunday here. Or Saturday. Duh. It's like I'm wearing Australia on my shirt, so it's like I'm from the future calling it Sunday when it's really Saturday. 3 for 5 time. Yeah, I got 2 pages plus questions. 3 for 5 time. So I'm going to open up. I was told that there were extra questions put in my private messenger. Boom, there they are. So, great feedback on yesterday's call. So thank you guys. And I just want to say, my team and I, we go through our classrooms and we discuss, what topics are hot, what's the big questions in each of our classrooms. And there's a lot of brand new people in Homeschool the Dogs. And the common theme amongst the team is how gracious and kind you guys are. So, all of our students, that's who they are, but we've got a lot of brand new students in here. So thank you. It's awesome. So much fun to teach people who, kind of are in the same vibe. So I'm going to jump right into questions. First question. I'm just going to remind you first about boom. Oh, wait, don't look at that. It's backwards. I have to fix this in order for you not to be blinded. Okay, hold on. I don't know if I'm going to stand on my head. Oh, I didn't. Look at that. So just a reminder of your success loop. So always keep that in the foreground of your brain when you're working through these classes or this classroom. And you'll notice that with keeping that success loop, these questions, some of them came in like earlier in the week. So they might not be as important to you now because I may have answered them with the success loop. Hello, Laura. Okay, so thank you guys. I am going to get the first question, really. I just want to thank you for the 1 for 3 that you guys I see you showing up doing the 1 for 3 when you add one comment and then you go and like or comment on 3 other people's posts. Thank you. That's awesome. Everybody likes the reinforcement of somebody acknowledging what they've been saying. Okay, so let's answer some treat diving questions. Number 1, what's the goal here? Am I trying to get them on a mat before I say search and throw the high value treats on the mat? So there's several kinds of learning. 2 main kinds of learning. There is shaping or learning through testing out what's right and wrong. And there's another kind of learning that it actually is called conditioning. So it's when something that previously had no significance gets paired with something of emotional significance. The first thing we think of is Pavlov and his dog, a bell conditioned with food paste, and then the dogs think that the bell is significant. They start salivating. For me, it's the smell of chocolate chip cookies. Vegan, of course. But it doesn't have to be a smell. So it could be a sound, and it doesn't always have to be good. It could be not so good. So for me, the sound of a dentist drill, not a pleasant sound because I had a lot of fillings when I was a small child. If you're a dentist, it might be a good sound. You might love to be giving fillings. I don't think any dentist really loves it. I think they really want people to have good teeth. So it could be a sight, it could be a sound, it could be a smell. And it could be good, it could be bad. So what we're doing with the bed, why I say let's just drop a cookie on the bed, is we're conditioning for the dog that that mat or bed is something good. It doesn't really play a role in this game at all. But next week, there's going to be a new game, and it's called the Hot Zone. And you can take that mat or even just use the bed itself in the Hot Zone. It's going to be so awesome. So that's why we involve the bed. That's the only reason we involve the bed. But the object of the game is to get your dog understanding you're not allowed to eat food off the floor. You're not allowed to go around and just grab what you want. But when I give you a cue, search, that means, yeah, you are. And as far as the mechanics and how to do it, just rewatch that video, Success Loop, right? That'll give you all the answers you need. So that was actually takes into account the second question, which is what's the point of the bed or the rug, and how or why are we building value for it? Every time you drop a treat on the bed, once the dog is on there, you build value for the bed. So at first you might be dropping treats and the dog comes over and eats them, but as soon as they start choosing to go on the bed, we're conditioning that. Okay? Why do we want the dogs? Do we want the dogs to look at us before we use a search cue? No, not necessary at all. I'd actually prefer that they don't look at us, that they have conditioned that there is something amazing happening out there and they are looking out there, hear the word search, and then look for the cookie to fall. What if we have multiple dogs with no resource guarding? Can we play all of this at the same time? Really, I would never introduce any part of dog training to a dog with other dogs in the room, or unless the other dogs were, like you see in the video, in their bed or hot zone. So if I'm teaching something new to a dog or puppy, my number one objective is what? I'm going to let you guess. What is my number one objective with that puppy? We could play hangman. 10 letters. The word has 10 letters. And I've said it over and over and over in Homeschool the Dog. What is our number one goal when we're training a new dog or a new pup or any dog? What is our number one goal? Confidence, Barbarian, nailed it. Boom, boom, boom. High five to Jamie. Jamie got it too. So we want to build confidence. And when you have other dogs milling about, number one, there's competition for the treat. Number two, it's a distraction, and the dog's not going to have as much success when they're distracted. Look at all you people who got confidence. Yes. All right. So our goal in dog training always build the dog's confidence, build your confidence, all right? And so that's why in Homeschool the Dog, we've got these layers of learning. That little bit of the dropping the cookie on the mat a week ago is going to come into play for you next week. It's all about these things to set you as a dog trainer up for success and to set your dog up to have confidence easily. Okay, so please, I would not be playing with multiple dogs. Too many letters in my answer. I'm not a great speller, Heidi. I apologize for that. Okay, there was another question that came up in yesterday's live, and I'm going to tag it along with that, is what if I've got two dogs, I play the game separately, and the one dog screams when the other dog's playing. So the first game of next week is called Hot Zone. It's going to help you a lot, but you're going to have to be very patient with this because it's not going to happen overnight. It's not like one session and then your dog can be quiet while they watch another dog and stay in the hot zone. Once you've got the hot zone behavior, then you can use it as a place that has tons of value, but that has tons of value. And so they're less likely to want to come out of there, okay? for now, if you've got 2 dogs and one is screaming to play the game, first of all, pat yourself on the back because you've done a phenomenal job building value for working with you. And that is huge, my friend, huge. Number 2 is I would try to get the dog out of the house so they can't hear you. You know, you can't just put them in the other room. They're going to hear you and they're going to scream and go crazy. So ideally, maybe if you can put them in your car, or if you've got somebody in the house that can take one dog for a walk while the other dog's being trained. And that means that dog might get walked 3 or 4 times a day because you're going to have 3 or 4 little sessions in your training den. Okay? But I promise you, once you play the hot zone and you get some success under your belt, it will become easier to do exactly what I'm demonstrating in these videos with my 2 dogs. Okay. When dropping food on the mat, I am standing right next to the mat. I think it's probably should I be standing? So at first, yes, but as soon as you start to see your dog say, where's that mat? I get another cookie when I get on the mat. Then you can stand anywhere and toss it back. But remember, I wouldn't move away from the mat until the dog eats the cookie that you've thrown out there and then comes looking for the mat. Because if this is the mat, I'll fold it up so you can see it better. Okay, here's your mat. Here's your mat on drugs. Okay, this is a really old joke. I gotta stop saying that. If you're standing right here, what do you represent? You represent the Pez dispenser. You got the cookies, so it's easy for me to go on the mat. But if you move over here, now you're asking the dog to make a choice. Do I go to the Pez dispenser, where I know the cookies are, or do I go to the mat where I know I get the cookies? So what you're gonna do is just move a little bit away, and then a little bit away, and then come back closer, and then a little bit away, and come back closer, and then a little bit away, until they go, I've got it. If I go on that mat, you will throw me cookies, so I'm in, okay? All right. How do I stop my dog from continually searching? That could be the kind of treat you're using. So it sounds like your dog's got great food drive, which is awesome. So go to a treat that doesn't break up or crumble, and a lower value treat. So the higher value treat could be on the hot zone or on the bed that you're using. So that would be a good thing to do. Or you may have to go just to a lower value treat in both locations if they start scarfling the blanket or the bed. Now, another game that you're going to learn next week will help with this. It's like cue the dramatic music, right? Oh, so much suspense in what's happening next week. My dogs have trouble finding cookies. Sometimes with puppies, I get this too. And so you need to like make it become alive, make it become, so you might bounce the cookie and then put it on the ground and flick it, or especially with a small dog or a puppy, or a small dog, yeah, or a puppy, especially young puppies. They don't really, it's like, what? Right? So get their attention with the cookie and then just like drop it in front of them a couple times. And then you can venture out a little further and a little further and a little further. Okay? My dog's diving for treats, but several times he stops to look at me even after I said search. I had to tell him to get it before he would get the treat. We've played lots of It's Your Choice. Am I confusing him? Okay, so if you've got dogs who really have sorry, Swagger. If you have dogs who have really good It's Your Choice, you may have to do this. So we've used the word get it in It's Your Choice. So we put the word they don't know in front of the word they do know. And here's why. Dogs are brilliant at picking up patterns of reinforcement, which means they're brilliant at anticipating what are the things that lead me to reinforcement. And so if they know get it means they can have a cookie, and you say search, and then pause for a second and say, get it. After 3 or 4 of those, guess what's going to happen? It might take as many as Pavlov says, 15 to 25. The dog's going to hear the word search, know that the word get it is going to come right after. Right? Another thing you may need to consider if your dog is struggling with this is maybe right now don't throw the cookies too far away. Like dance it around, get them excited, and then toss it and say get it. Or another thing you can do is kind of hold them back and throw it out. Ready, ready, and then tell them search. Okay, get it, search, get it. My dog wouldn't go for the treat until I told her it was okay. She'll do it now with the search cue, but is still hesitant. Make sure you're using crazy, crazy high value treats. And remember what I just said. Keep the distance nice and short, high value treats, get the dog excited, maybe hold them back. And if they have a get it cue, then you could say, search, get it. Search, get it. Okay. What does it mean, a short session? That means you only train for 1 to 3 minutes at the most, and really depending on what game you're playing, it might, and depending on the dog. So for example, I used to bring in a rescue dog every now and again, and I guess we brought Tater in about 1.5 years ago, but in the olden days, 25 years ago, I used to bring in rescue, a lot of times Jack Russells, but I did bring in a golden retriever once. I digress. And a lot of times these dogs were going to be euthanized, and I wanted to turn them into a family pet that anyone would love. And so what I would do is I needed to get responsiveness in relationship. So I would start with these super, super short training sessions. I mean like 10 seconds. Get them out of the crate, play for 10 seconds, like get them, actually it was cookie chasing is all I would do, the cookie diving, sorry. Do some cookie diving and then back in the crate. And I would do maybe 10 sessions a day like this. And by the like 6th or 7th session, they'd be like, oh my gosh, let's play. So how long or short your sessions are depends on how excited your dog is to work with you. But even with my adult dogs who are all so keen to work now, they love to train, they could train all day. I generally don't train them more than 3 to 5 minutes tops. And I'd have to think of what I would be doing that it would go on for 5 minutes. I normally do about 3 minutes. When I think about, my timer is almost always 3 minutes. And then I let it go off, and I might train for 30 seconds after that. And then I switch dogs. One's in the hot zone, the other one comes out. So that's what short sessions mean. Okay, next question. Shadow is more focused on my hands full of treats. Okay, look back at the video, because I never had a handful of treats, ever. For that reason. Like you're saying to the dog, here, I've got 50 pounds of excited, okay, you're not holding 50 pounds in your hand. I've got a half a pound of exciting, really cool stuff, and I'm going to throw out a morsel over there. You go get that morsel. I want what's there. Okay? One treat. Let me just see. Check in this one. Is there more treat diving questions? Okay. One of the common things when reviewing videos, a lot of you are saying search and throwing the treat at the same time. You are not going to get a dog that can predict that search means a cookie's coming. It would be like if I came up and whacked you on the head at the same time I said, duck. You wouldn't have a chance to duck, right? Why is a reinforcement-based dog trainer talking about duck? And can you tell that isolation is hit us? Because haircuts are a thing of the past right now. So you need to separate any cue, because dogs are great at picking up reinforcement. They will be looking for the cookie. So if you pair search and a cookie, you might have been Charlie Brown's teacher. Wah, 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 wah. Wah, 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 wah. We want them to really be keen on the word search, and the only way we're going to do that is by separating the word and the food. Okay, next question. Hand targeting. I just want to do it my way. He doesn't have to touch. Why is this so important? You know what? There's no police officer coming checking your house. You're a member of our community, and if you want to play games differently, then I'm never going to find out. So if you want to challenge if you're finding this a struggle and want to challenge your dog training, then let us help you. Let us help you be brilliant. Why do we ask for the dog to touch a nice firm touch? It's a fun game that the dogs love to do, number one. And number two, it's criteria. We're helping you to understand the importance of criteria. So I don't know if I can do this. Let me just, Swaggy, come here, bud. Let's see if he can get up and out. Come here. Can you put your paws up here? Well, okay, well, that'll work too. So if I just put my hand out here, no, you've got to, I'll do it this way so you can see. His sister is down there and might take his toy. What if I pick that up so she can't have it? Can you see that? That it's a nice firm touch. And they love playing this game. Thank you. Okay, it's fun. It's fun. Next question about hand targets. I've been doing hand targeting a lot with my boys since I got them. You start differently than the way I was taught. Why is it important not to use the touch cue? As I said in the video, a lot of times people use that touch cue as a crutch. My dog's not doing what they're doing, I'm going to say touch. And most people who say the cue touch, this is a vast generalization, but my observation is people who use the word touch, they generally have a really crappy hand touch because they say the word touch, 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 because the dog isn't touching right away, right? So my thinking is your hand's always going to be at the end of your wrist. And if you put it down, that's the cue. It's a physical cue rather than a verbal one, right? So again, we don't have any police coming by the house. If you would like to change that, if you said, Susan, I really need a cue, I would not add it until you've got a brilliant, nice, firm nose press. Okay, so if you wanted to add it, I would certainly wait on that. Okay. Let me just see. I think I had one more. In the first game, treat diving, I told my dog to search, and it's your choice. I say, get it. Won't that confuse it? Okay, we already answered that one. You know, if my dog was in a sit and I threw food on the floor, they wouldn't get it, right? If they walked by food on the floor, well, Feature might take it at this point in her life, but my dog would stare at it like, can I eat that? But if I'm engaging with them and they're moving and I toss the treat, they will definitely run up and take it because they're already in motion. And but not all dogs will understand that. So be patient and help them understand. Okay. I just see a question roll by. I'll jump in on. My puppy keeps growling and nipping in the games. What can I do to stop this? Okay, I'm assuming you have your puppy on leash, and I would go to the very beginning, right? Just work through. If I'm playing treat diving and my puppy bites at my hand when I throw the treat, which I remember 8-week-old puppies will do that, then what you might want to do is make it easier. So take the treat and just move it around. And when the puppy doesn't bite your hands, drop it. If the puppy does bite your hand, it's an it's your choice moment. They don't get it. Anytime my puppy jumps up and grabs at my sweater, I just freeze. The cookies are in my hand. They're on a leash. They can't get any reinforcement. Okay? And if I get bit in a way that hurts me, I give it a nice yow. All right? So I'm going to do it. My dogs don't like when I do this, but I'll go. Is that fun, Swaggy? Which means, just like their puppy, that, oh, thank you, Paula. I'm terrible about touching my face. Which they understand is another puppy's getting hurt. Oh, that maybe I shouldn't be doing that. All right? Puppies, my puppies stop nipping super early on because I don't carry on the training if I get bit. I don't like getting bit. So my puppies learn really, really early not to bite me. Okay. My puppy just stares at me in treat diving. What am I doing wrong? I think I talked about this. Just go back and make it more engaging. They're babies, right? They're babies. So get a bigger piece of food that they can see and don't move it so far out. Kind of hold their little chest in your hand, show them the cookie and drop it and let them go. And then let them go, all right? Same thing, Jackie. I don't tolerate nipping. So if my puppy is chasing me down the hall and biting, I just freeze. And then I reach down and take their collar and just hold. When they stop biting me, I keep walking. And when they can walk with me without, there I go again, touching my face. I haven't left this property in 2 weeks, so I should be good, but I know it's a good habit to get into. Puppies nip, that's what they do. What you want to do is look at the times when your puppy nips and say, what can I do to build reinforcement for them not nipping? So I would just be walking down the hall, dropping cookies, so my puppy just learns to walk down the hall with me, right? That they don't, so it might be search, 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 search all the way down the hall, and the speed you walk plays important. So walking slower, and then try, jogging, dropping, and saying search, search, search. Let's condition those puppies not to want to. It's far more beneficial for you not to nip me than it is to nip me. So as I go down the hall, the search game happens. How do I get Buster to play with toys when he's in the mood to play only for a minute? How can I encourage him to play with more toys? LOH, do we have the bonus? The bonus? Is there a bonus about that? Okay. It's your choice questions. I was like, where was I? Do we start It's Your Choice right away or wait for our dogs to really start treat diving? That's such a good question. If you have a timid dog who isn't crazy about treats, you can wait on It's Your Choice and build it up for a couple of more days with treat diving. Any other dog, if dogs are really liking treats, you could start It's Your Choice pretty right away. Okay, I have 2 questions. We are told to control access to what reinforces the dog. Yes, that's what we promote. When we move to other items, is it advisable to use a long lead so we can stop them? Oh, I forgot my drink. I'm thinking if we are out roaming around and he wants to chase something that I can't control, should I have him on a long lead? We don't really use long lines. So my preference is use all these games to help build the responsiveness to you and build that relationship. And then in the meantime, have him in fenced in areas where he can do what he wants, right? He can do what he wants. So I wouldn't take him, like we're learning It's Your Choice and we're learning to what your name means. We're not So this is like kindergarten. Now taking that dog who's in kindergarten to university and saying, I'm gonna take you to the bunny farm. Can you give me the same responsiveness? There's a lot of layers that come in between there. So be patient. I'm not a fan of long lines personally. I used them back in the 90s, and when I've had rescue dogs, I've used them for a day or two just to evaluate what's going to happen with that dog, but they're not a way of going for me ever. All right. So, okay. Second part of this question, when we reward, can we reward with something other than what he initially wants? We gun dog train with dummies. It's not always appropriate to reward his good choice by giving him a dummy. He always wants the dummy, but he isn't supposed to take it until we ask him. Guess what? You can do it's your choice with the dummies too. They should not. My dogs, as much as they love toys, they don't take them without being told we're playing a game now, you can have it. So super, super important. And I would then, if you've got something that's that much value, that's your A+ reward. And so you can build value for your A+ reward. So I would build the value for the food by using the A+ reward. Go and look at the totem video. LOH, is a totem video posted? Maybe not. That will show you how to build value for something else. Okay, and Linda will tell us if the totem video is posted. Okay. So, going to wrap up with you guys. One thing I want to make super clear. I don't care if you're starting with a puppy or if you're starting with a dog that's new to you, or this is a new way of thinking about dog training, and you're starting like with your 4-year-old or 7-year-old or 10-year-old dog. This is important. There are layers of learning. Right now, with treat diving and it's your choice, and we are at the beginning layers. So some of you guys are asking about PhD questions. You've skipped all of the elementary school questions. You've skipped high school. You've skipped university. You even skipped your master's, and you want to know, how do I get my dog to not chase the rabbit when we're out walking in the woods? So it's super important that you just trust in the process and don't allow access for the inappropriate behavior while you're building up the super new levels of responsiveness and relationship. All right? A lot more great games to come here in Homeschool the Dog. So be patient. We got you covered. See you next time.